Hello everybody, welcome back to another weather video. Before I get started here, I just want to wish everybody a great New Year's Day, and hopefully everybody has a great year this year. Everybody deserves it, especially after these past couple of years, everybody deserves a fresh new start. Now, into the video, as you can see on the west coast, you do have alerts. In the mountains and high elevations, you have winter storm warnings, winter storm watches, and I believe there's an advisory out there somewhere. But as you reach into the way of southwest standards, here you have an avalanche advisory, hard freeze warning, and a hard freeze advisory down there. And then as you get into Texas, down here, shockingly, with this cold front coming by, you could see temperatures in the lows of 20s, mid 20s, upper 20s, maybe some 30s, but it's going to get really cold. And right now, I looked at a report. Right now in northern Texas, it's 15 degrees, and in Houston, it is 81 degrees. So, Houston, uh, I would take out those ACs soon because if you don't, that is going to definitely freeze overnight. And as you look into the central part of the country, you do have a lot of winter storm alerts here in this purple area that stretches anywhere from northern Texas all the way up into northern Maine. You have winter weather advisories, and in the central part of the country, anywhere back from Nebraska and Kansas all the way into Illinois and parts of northern Indiana, you have a winter storm warning where you can see anywhere from 4 to 10 inches of snow. In this yellow, you have a tornado watch. This dark green, you have a flood watch. In the lighter green, you have a flood warning, and in the lightest green, you also have a flood advisory. Now, on the coast of New Jersey and Delaware, you also have a coastal flood advisory, and this area anywhere stretching from Boston all the way back down to Long Island. You also have yourself a special weather statement, which I looked at it before. It's about the dense fog that's going on right now, but it's not enough. It's not a high enough criteria to give you a fog advisory or anything like that. And before I almost missed, and in the Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, and into Montana, you have these temperatures are going to be brutally cold. Right now, some of them I saw it's in the negative digits. Some of them are -10, believe it or not. And it's 2 o'clock over there, 2, 3 p.m. as of right now. This right here, the darker blue, is the wind chill warning, wind chill advisory. It is going to get brutally cold. The low temperatures are going to be in a probably, if it's a -10 now, let's say -15, -20 area, and that's, I would not leave your house at all unless you needed to. And once again, in the Northeast, you have winter weather advisory stretching all the way from the border of Pennsylvania and New York all the way up into Maine. But as you can notice, you do have a couple counties into winter storm warnings in the most northern parts of. As we take a look at the winter storm that is going on right now, this is where your rain and snow line is. This is where your temperatures are around 32, but it is not lower than that. So it's either sleeting, freezing rain, ice pellets even, or just straight up just rain. And anywhere north of this red line, it is below 32 and it is snowing. So anywhere from Chicago, where you can see these bands of heavy snow are coming in from the west and going into Detroit, and it is just finishing it up anywhere west of this red line. But as you can see these cold temperatures right now that are going on. Let me just get rid of this. You see these temperatures back here? You think, yeah, these are pretty cold temperatures in the single digits. 6 degrees, 2, 1. There was a reading right here before 0. But if you think that's cold, just go straight up north. You have temperatures in the -19 on the North Dakota border and Canadian border, -16 just west of International Falls, -8, 1 in Wisconsin, -4, 0 in Thunder Bay, -14, -15 in Montana. This is really cold there, and it's just updated right in front of our eyes. -14, 13, 11, 15, and like I said, you have a -19 degree reading right on the border. So if that's right now, just imagine the night temperatures where it's going to be colder, you have no sun to help you out, and it already is in the negative digits. That is brutally cold. As I said before, your cold front is coming down. This is where it is right now, pretty much. Let me get this out. It is pretty much right down here. It is going straight from Canada. This was in the west coast. Now it's just going straight east with this storm. And like I said, in Texas, let me just scroll down a little bit for you. It is 83 in Houston right now. It's 10 degrees and snowing in Amarillo. I know Amarillo and northern Texas gets a lot of snow, but it is going to be 20s here soon. And it's 83 degrees. 41 in Dallas. That's just insane. Anywhere in here where it's nowhere close to being snow, this is where your thunderstorms are most likely going to be. Hence why you have your tornado watch, flood warnings even. That's what it's all about right there. And this is all going to move into the Northeast. I don't think the Northeast has any really chance of seeing severe weather. Yeah, there's a chance you could see some, but there isn't going to be much to do about with that. No tornadoes or anything like that. Like I said, there could be scattered tornadoes, but it's not going to be watchworthy. And up here, northern New York, western New York, northern New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine, this is where you're going to see your snow. It may start out as rain, but then as the cold air behind it comes in, you'll quickly change over the snow. Depending on when that happens, you could see your snow totals go up, down, but it all really depends when that cold air comes in. Now, this is a new run of the GFS. I really didn't get a chance to look at it yet, so I'm looking at it with you right now. As we move on, you can see that a storm does form down in the southern part of the coast here by Georgia, Alabama border. But on the backside, you can see back here by Tennessee, maybe northern ports of Alabama and Georgia could change over snow. But most of these models take it out to sea, and actually, the GFS actually moved it more north. So if you take a look at the previous run, you see it was down right here, central North Carolina, and as you can see now, it did move up into more northern North Carolina. This 20, 30 mile difference can really change things. So if we get a closer look, this was the previous run, right? Snow wasn't even making it up to New York City, Long Island border yet. This is where it was. I'll draw it out for you. You have your snow down here into southern and central New Jersey. And as you can see here, look, it bumps it another 10, 20 miles. So when it comes, the snow, you could actually get accumulating snow here. So if we go to the radar, which I think is better off, to be honest, this is where your snow line is for this run. At least it gets it up into central PA, all of New Jersey, and southern New York. But if we go back to the previous run, you see how much a 20, 30 mile an hour, a mile difference can make a difference? I mean, this is where the heaviest snow was. Off the coast of New Jersey, all the way down into Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, all the way down into North Carolina. This is where all the heaviest snow was. And if you shift it back to the run right now, look how much that changed. All that heavy snow came on to New Jersey. Delaware is in rain. Not all of Delaware. That's Maryland. I'm sorry. I can't really see with the dark blue. But most of southern Maryland is in rain. Delaware is in the heavy snow now. And into West Virginia snow, central PA snow. This could really make a difference here. But the thing is, the GFS is one of the only models that shows this. And if we go to the snow total map, not sure if it's updated. Oh my god. It gives a foot plus in Delaware, southern New Jersey, and Virginia. I would not believe that whatsoever. But this is the previous run. This is where the inch line was. This is where it cut off in central New Jersey. But if we go to the run now, the inch line is pretty much up here-ish. That's how much a 20, 30 mile an hour, mile. I keep almost saying mile an hour, but mile difference does. If we go back to the GFS abroad, the snow is over by, let's see, it's off the coast by 7 p.m. Let's do Long Island first. It starts snowing, let's say 5 a.m. ish, and stops by 2, 3 ish. So it's gonna be light snow, but if it keeps creeping north like this, it's gonna keep snowing harder. If we go into southern New Jersey, it starts out as rain around 1, changes over, I would think 2, 3 as the storm starts to get going, and it starts to out by 2, 3 o'clock as well, if not a little earlier. But this is just one run. This one run made it interesting again, but as you can see, the GFS has been consistent with this with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 runs now. It has not budged in the past 2 days pretty much, but with my luck, I'm pretty sure this will budge back south with my luck. Every time I make a video where a storm could happen in the Northeast and I get my hopes up, it eventually just gets drained out, washed away, and suppressed southeast. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens because this and HRRR are one of the only models that show it, and I'll show you what the HRRR does. Notice that it already has a storm forming back here with snow. If usually I noticed the past couple days, if it does have this back here, you are going to have a storm that tracks a little bit more north, giving this area a little more chance of having snow. But if it does have this, you do have a better chance of seeing the storm go a little bit more north because it gets its act together. It's not as far north as the GFS, but it does get the snow to Long Island and southern Massachusetts, Plymouth, Nantucket. But here too, it's not too shabby with snow totals down into New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, and even into some parts of North Carolina as the rain changes over the snow on the backside. Now, will this happen? Sorry about that, my headset turned off, but will this happen? There is a chance that it could happen, but as of right now, I give it a 25% chance out percent it happening. The storm, once it forms, it's about 24 hours out, so if the radar does start to look like this on the backside, yes, I think we do have a better chance of seeing this form. But if we go to the NAM, you see it really doesn't agree with that. It doesn't have much precipitation forming on the 24 hours out. You can see, yes, you do have some precipitation on the backside here, but it's nothing compared to what the HRRR has. And I'll go back to the GFS for you. Eastern US, and this is what it has 24 hours out. You can see it does have a lot more precipitation. These two models do have it. The NAM doesn't. Go out a little further, yes, you have a storm that forms, but look how far south this thing is. By the time it gets off the coast, it is down by South Carolina, North Carolina border, and if we go to the HRRR, by the time this thing gets off the coast, it's by Virginia, near Virginia. That difference can mean a lot sometimes. Like, this is where it was for the NAM, this is where it is for the HRRR, and if you go back to the GFS, this is where it is too. It's right there. It takes it out from there to there. And it's similar to the HRRR. But the NAM, the Canadian, the Canadian does show a storm. It actually is pretty close to what the GFS has and the HRRR, but it doesn't show much precipitation on the northern side. It doesn't get more north than southern New Jersey. The Icon, it looks like the NAM almost, but it's a little bit weaker and less precipitation, but it does give snow there. But I think there is a decent amount of chance to see snow anywhere in this area because Icon has it, the Canadian has it, the GFS certainly has it, and I think the only model that doesn't have it is the NAM, which yes, it does have it, barely has it, but you have to go really south for that. So, do I think it could happen? Yes, there's a chance that it could happen. Let's say it does happen. If it does happen, like the GFS is saying, this is why I think you could get a little to nothing in this area right here. But if that new 18Z is true and it comes true, I might have to move this area a little bit more north because it does give an inch reading up to here pretty much, at least according to the 18Z GFS. Some accumulation, I'm thinking a handful of inches, like 1, 2, maybe 3. And in this area, if it does form, this is where your best chance of 3, 4, maybe, dare I say, maybe more than that if it does form. This is your 3+ area. I'll go with that. 1 to 3, 1 to 2, and this is 1, not even 1. But let's say the NAM and the other models are completely correct. Oop, I didn't mean to do that. The NAM is completely correct. This is what you'll see. If the NAM and the icon are correct, you just see flakes, no accumulation. It'll be too weak of snows to happen. But if that is true with the NAM and icon are correct, you'll see flakes anywhere in this area. But if you see the GFS and each triple R correct, this is what you'll see. And yeah, that's pretty much does it for this storm. Now, before I end the video, I just want to take a quick look at the outlook. You remember a couple days ago we had this big trough out in the west, and we had this big ridge out here that caused above average temperatures. Well, we're finally about to have a big pattern change. As you can see, you have a trough that comes down here. You have a little bit of a ridge that forms over here for the next 6 to 10 days, according to the CPC, Climate Prediction Center. Your best chance of coldest air, as we all know, is in this area where you have your negative digits, single digits, double digits right now, some areas. And if we go to the 8 to 14 day outlook, it's pretty much the same. But the core of the cold air is more in this area. It's shifted a little bit east, but as you can see, it does, at least for the northeast and middle part of the country, you're finally about to have a pattern change that you've been waiting all December for, ever since November's ended up as being cold. And if we go to the GFS, this is a 12Z. The 18Z isn't far enough out. As you can see, it's 132 hours. The 12Z, look on the western part. Look at the west over here. Notice how you have this big trough out in the west. You have this huge trough out in the west that stretches anywhere from here, and then you have your big ridge out here that goes straight up into Greenland and goes straight down into Florida. I'll just leave this here for you just to show you what it was. And now if we go to what it's supposed to look like after, let's say, 100 hours, look how much better this is for the snow lovers out in east. You have a ridge forming in the west coast over here. You have a ridge forming out here, right? You have cold air being drained down into the North American side, North American East Coast and middle part of the country. You do have connections from the Arctic coming down. That would explain why you have really cold air coming down. And even into further range where, look at this, you get a full-blown ridge. You get a full-blown ridge anywhere from Siberia, Alaska, all the way down into Mexico. And then this is what you call straight from the Arctic. That last one, I was mistaken. That was from Canada. This is straight from the Arctic cold air. If this were to happen, yes, we would have an Arctic outbreak. All the models do show something like this, but it's way too early to tell. You would have a positive PNA, I think a positive NAO, but you would definitely have your cold air strain right through from the Arctic into North America, and definitely would be very cold for the East. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you have a great New Year's and the rest of the year. Stay safe, and I will update you guys again if this storm for Monday looks more interesting.